you have a lot of people who use, this as an excuse. Anybody, if you ever heard of this before, put a one in the chat. I'm about to get ready, or I'm going to get ready, finna get ready. I'm gonna do some presentations, going to do some presentations. You know what? I'll do it when I get perfect. I get it right. I got to learn some more. I got to watch some more presentations. I got to take some more notes. And so that's these people are filibustering. These people are fearful, right? And it's okay to be fearful, but it's not okay to let it dominate you and stop you from achieving what you need to achieve. And the best way to learn, guys, is just about doing it bad. Remember, you're going to be bad before you get better. You're going to be bad before you get great. And you have to go through the process, at some point in time. So why not now? So just start, guys. Just start. As a matter of fact, I had back in my days, when I would say just started really doing presentations and just started doing network marketing. When I was in network marketing, um, I would be the best note taker out there. I would be the best, student out there, except I wouldn't go out and use any of it. I would have binders and journals full of notes, recordings full of presentations, right? And I never did a presentation. So one day, my upline senior partners, they played a trick on me. Basically, they said, "Hey, we're gonna kick him out the nest today. We're gonna make him do his own presentation that they booked at my house, right?" And so they're supposed to come do the presentation for me. And I had all the three people in my house. Two people I knew, one person I didn't. And we actually had a product called Stress X. You take an ounce of it, it's supposed to relieve your stress, over time. And they gave me a phone call, said, "Hey, look, we're going to be real late. You're going to have to start the presentation." Mind you, I never did a presentation before, like I said. And, but I'm like a month and a half in, almost 2 months in the game in that company. And guys, I locked myself in a room. I had my notes spread it all over the bed. And I was trying to look at transition phrases, what I'm going to say here, what I'm going to say there, what jokes I'm going to use, all this kind of stuff here. And it was just a bad situation. So 45 minutes later, okay, 45 minutes later, we get a knock on the door. And my wife, remember I said I was locked in the room. My wife knocked on the door, said, "Hey, they're here." I said, "Good. They can do the presentation." Right. And she's like, "No, you're not going to embarrass me." They said, "You do the presentation. If you don't do it, I'm going to do it." So she went out there and started trying. She got ready to, I'm like, "I got it. I got it. I got it." So I went, did the first half of the presentation, guys, knocked it out. And the only thing I missed was every product that we had. So we had a wall of products on the table behind me. And I didn't say anything about the products. I talked about everything else we had on the flip charts, but no products. And my senior partner came in behind me and did the rest of the presentation and made up for what I lacked. But in the back of the room, I was getting coached by the other one. And he told me, he said, "Look, if you're going to be a leader, you're going to make millions of dollars. You can't be afraid to speak. You can't be afraid to do presentations. And your team will never follow you. They'll never respect you. They'll always look around you and look above you for somebody who's speaking and presenting. So what you need to do is you need to read this book, okay? And you need to listen to this audio." Gave me some stuff to listen to. And then he told me, he said, "Remember, you're only born with three fears: the fear of falling, the fear of loud noises, and the fear of abandonment." He said, "The fear of speaking that you have, you developed your own on your own, so you can undevelop it, right?" And so those words were golden for me. After that, I just started pointing and reading, and I started doing presentations. And I can just tell you, the guy who I did a point and read presentation for, he got started, right? His name was Jerome Gorman. I'll never forget him. We went to his house, did a presentation. He had 17 people at his house. And I did the presentation. Four of the people got in, right? And then I invited them to the big meeting. At the big meeting, we all sit on the front row. We took up the first two rows on the front row. And the speaker was amazing. His name was Aaron, and Aaron Gray to be exact. And I'm telling you guys this story because I want you guys to understand that if I can do this, you guys can. Okay. When that presentation was over, Jerome looked at me and he said, "Dude, that presentation you did at my house after seeing this, that presentation sucked." I said, "Dude, it's too late. You are already in, and so are they." So they don't know what a good presentation is or a bad presentation because they never saw a presentation to begin with. So you have nothing to be scared of, right? And so I just wanted to share that story with you guys because that's important, right? And so The next thing is your story, right? The next S is your story. So you want to make sure you have your background in order. Angel, stop laughing at me. You want to make sure you have your background in order, right? You want to make sure you let a person know what you do for a living, what you did for a living, and what you're doing now in this company and what you're planning on doing in your company. Okay. And so that's your story, right? And so that's very, very important. But just be conscious, that um, of time. You don't want to get in here and get down or go down a rabbit hole. Get it all down pat. Boom, 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 and in and out, in and out, in and out. And so just to give a person some social proof, because what you do for a living, right? You'll have some other people who do for a living, and then they can relate, and other people can use your story. Okay, but while we're talking about stories, there are three stories, guys, and you really want to make sure that when it comes to the three stories, one, the most important, well, the first story you want to learn is your upline story, your senior partner story. Okay. And that story is important because, when you talk to people, people are looking at you as a coworker, a family member, church member, somebody who they know they love and respect as a human being, but they don't respect what you've done in this company because you're brand new. In any company, you're brand new. Right. And so learning your senior partner story, that means that now they can now talk to somebody and work with somebody besides you who has results that they desire. Okay. Or they have their results are so big that they can actually help that individual get to the goals that they want to achieve. Right. And so you learn your senior partner story. Second story is your story. You invite so many people to listen to your senior partner do their story, right? That you start making some money, okay? Because you're starting recruiting and you're also starting to make sales. You start to get installed, or whatever industry you're in, because I know the people from other company may be on this call. Now, when you actually have that story all down pat, man, look, I've sponsored X, Y, and Z people in this many days, or I made this much of money in this many days, or I got this many installs in this many days. Guys, what happens is your people that got started, they start using your story. And this is where the most impactful and most important story comes. Now, your people who are making money using your story, the stories now you can use other people because people don't really care about your story. Remember, your story is always going to be insignificant. When you're talking to people about that you're going to recruit, that's just one of those things. They're going to label you as special or label you as somebody who got entitled because you're connected to somebody special. But when you actually let them know, hey, I actually have people in my organization that's done 10 installs in a month, 15 installs in a month, or they make $5,000 a month. They never made money in network marketing, but they making money over here. They never sold anything in marketing, but they made money over here. And when you start telling those stories, those three stories, guys, are very, very powerful. But that the most powerful is the people who are on your team because they're part of your resume. And now people see that you can now help them do what you did for the others. Okay. So stories are very, very important. Okay. The last S is simplicity. Okay. Well, I'll take that back. The second to the last S is simplicity. And that is the key. Point and read, guys, until you have it, down in memory. Remember, when you're doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, guys, guess what? You're pointing and reading, and your brain is actually picking this stuff up and it's storing this stuff in wealth files, right? And then at some point in time, you'll get to a slide and you'll just be able to talk, right? That's important. So when you're doing Zooms, this is really, really cool. When you're doing Zooms or when you're sitting down at a table with somebody, you can actually my wife used to actually have stickets and the little Post-its on her flip charts with different jokes or different bullet points that she wanted to hammer home as she was learning how to do the presentation. And she ended up being one of the best presenters in the company. But you'll learn from your notes when to, start to implement things. But again, the simplicity is the key, guys. Don't try to impress people. If you want to impress somebody, point and read. Let them know that you can be disciplined and you can be humble and you can do this presentation because you want them to have the right information, right? And the last S is speak on purpose. Okay, when you speak on purpose, guys, you're on point. You don't miss words. People, they get it and they believe in you. They trust you, right? When you look at the pace, the pitch, the tone, uh, and how you make points, how you allow people to communicate with you while you're actually presenting, that's important. And so for me, I had to have a speech pathologist help me with my speaking a long time ago. And I used to have the run-on sentences, couldn't articulate, enunciate, pronunciate to save my life. And you didn't know when the pronunciation, if there's any pronunciation, I'm sorry, what do you call it? Periods, quotation marks, question marks. You didn't know where any of that stuff belonged because it was just one long, just run on. And so I learned how to speak. I learned from different people on how to slow down and how to get my pace right. As a matter of fact, I used to read very, very slow right before I would do a presentation. Okay. I would read something so slow like this first because it was my big, and it was painful, but I read in the bathroom before I actually spoke because it would help me slow down to where I would be speaking normal. Okay. That was a problem that I had, a challenge that I had that I was able to fix. And another thing that I did that calmed me down, relaxed me, and took the nerves away was I prayed, and I prayed in the possession. I prayed and I said, hey, to my creator, thank you for giving me the ability to articulate, enunciate, pronunciate in a manner where my audience can receive what I am giving them and use it to make a decision that's best for their family. That was my affirmation. And so I would say that before, I walked out. So I would read slow, then I would do my affirmations before I walked out. Wasn't my only one, but that was the one that I had for speaking. And so it's kind of how I prepared and how I was on purpose before I took the stage. Okay. And so those are the S's. C, confidence, guys. Confidence in you and everything you offer, right? Um, Man, did you know that every time you do a presentation, you kill fear, you increase belief, and you become more confident? Remember, action kills fear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. That's why I said don't be scared of presenting, just go do it. Anything, think about it. How many of you have ever had something that you were scared to do, but once you finally did it and you just bit the bullet, you realized it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be? Okay. And so again, that's all of us at some point in time. We've been there. And so it's no different than this. But have a short-term memory, guys. You're going to make some mistakes and embrace the mistakes and be able to laugh at them, right? And so there was a young lady. Well, I ain't gonna tell that story, but if you get nervous, anxious, or you just have anxieties, okay, breathe, relax, and breathe. Saturday, it was Julie's first time speaking, and when it comes to in front of the room introducing me at this event, and she just went from putting the event together to now she's about to introduce me. And so we were in a room, and then I just grabbed her and I started breathing. I held it, paused, and then I exhaled. And then she did it with me 2 or 3 times, right? And then she's ready to rock and roll. But you have to get yourself under control. You have to be able to relax. You have to be able to breathe. That way you can go out there and be natural. Yeah. And so that's important. But you don't have to be great, guys. You just have to finish. That's it. You don't have to be great. You just have to finish. And the more and more you cross that finish line, remember, you're not racing with anybody. You're not competing against anybody. All you're doing is getting that repetition in. You're working on your presentation and your speaking muscle, right? That's how you gain confidence, right? And so next C is for closing. Always be closing, right? Always be closing, right? And so one of the things that you want to do when you actually go into a presentation is always have a big claim, right? And so for me, my big claim, and you guys all know it, if I ask you anything about the compensation plan, most of you cannot tell me how to break down the compensation plan. All my day one people, most of you cannot tell me the entire compensation plan, how to break it down. But if you've ever heard me speak before, all of you can actually give everybody my big claim. My big claim is in the next 12 to 18 months, I am going to earn how much money, guys? And I'm not going to say it. So just so somebody's listening. How much money am I going to earn in the next 12 to 18 months? There you go. $250,000, $250,000. See, and again, Don's the first person, Mr. Strunk. There you go. See, this is the thing, guys. Your big claim, people remember stuff like that. They remember what you're going to do, what you're affirming to do. Okay. And so for me, I can either help 10 people get to $25,000 a month in the residual company to do that, or I can actually go out there and build a big enough team where the overrides get it, but I know those numbers. So make sure you have your big claim. Also, cancel objections through the presentation, guys. Always, anytime you know what objections are to people, right? When you study your industry, you want to make sure you put the answers and the like the counters to those objections in the actual presentation. While you're having a conversation, obliterate all of the concerns that people normally have, right? And that way, when it's over and you say, anybody have any questions, it's not those questions. And it's simple questions that you can actually knock out, okay? But great closers cater to their presentations, and when it comes to the product, the prospects in the presentation. So I know my room. Like, I'll ask before I start to present, who's in the room? What's their background? Have they seen presentations already? If this is a fresh audience, right? And so at certain points, I'll talk directly to that person, and I'll look at them. I won't say their name, and I'll talk directly at them, right? Or if I know the name, I'll say a name, and I might be looking at another side of the room, right? And I'll kind of give an example in that presentation that caters to that individual. So when you know your audience, guys, you can present to your audience instead of talking at them. Okay, that's important. Okay, and that way it helps you cater your presentation to them. But let's see here, trial close. Always, guys, right now, if you see value in what we're doing right now, raise your hand. That's a trial close, right? And so, on a scale of 1 to 10, guys, how valuable is this product? And boom, and people are now giving you answers. 5, 10, 7, 9, 11. So you're getting feedback, right? And so again, you want to always have trial closes, and trial closes definitely work best when you're one-on-one with somebody, because you don't have to, because when you're one-on-one, guys, and you're sitting down with somebody or on a Zoom with somebody, you can trial close, and if a person's ready, you stop the presentation. And so I don't want you to be that guy or that gal that think you have to actually finish the presentation if you're on a one-on-one setting. And if you're on a one-on-one setting, you say, you know what, have you seen enough to go ahead and make a decision? They say, yeah, okay, great. You want to go ahead and get started on the 149 or 2 on 199? 199. Okay, great. Here's the link. Let's go ahead and walk through it. Stop. Don't talk beyond the close. Okay. And this is why some people talk beyond the close, is because you don't know how to ask for the money. Okay. You don't know how to ask for the money. And so that's a very, very important thing. The next C, connect early and often. Okay. Connect early and connect often. You want to talk more to their heart than you do to their wallet. Okay. You want to talk more to their heart and the things that they want than you do to their wallet. If you talk to their wallet, they can see there's a dollar sign over their head. If you talk to their heart, then they know that you care. That's why I ask questions like, so what's important to you when it comes to companies, like this, or when it comes to partnering with people? And they'll tell me, and then I have something to talk about, right? So what would you do with the money that you're going to make? Why do you need to make that type of money? What are you going to do with it, right? So get people talking about what they want to do, what's important to them. And now that becomes your conversation piece. That becomes your focal point, right? And so John C. Maxwell wrote a book, Everyone Communicates, but Few Connect. And I have the audio and I have the book. Okay. And so I suggest everybody who's in sales, period, go get that. Everyone communicates, but few connect. John C. Maxwell. And when it comes to connecting, remember I told you I had a bout with speaking, right? I wasn't the best, at speaking at all. So my communication skills were subpar, right? And my connecting skills were above average. Okay. And I'm just saying my mentor, my coach at the time, I would look at people who spoke better than me. He said, listen, I want to share something with you. He said, they speak very, very well, but some people see him as slick. Some people see him as too polished. And some people, they don't even join him because they don't think that they can be him. He said, but if you notice, people still join you. And if you notice, your retention is better than most people. And it's because you connect with people. When you connect with a person, when they get started, they didn't get started because of your skill set. They got started because they believe in you and they want to partner with you. He said, I can teach you how to speak, but I can't teach you how to be a good, genuine person. And so that's something that put me in a position where I was really happy and excited about that conversation. He said, you can catch them past them one day based on your groups growing and never leaving. And so make sure, you master in connecting with people's hearts, guys. Okay. H, humility. Okay. There's no place in presentations and conversations for egos. Okay. And so EGO, there are a lot of acronyms for EGO, but for me, for business, is edging goals out. Okay. Edging goals out. So if you have a goal and you have a big ego, if it's a big goal, you won't hit it. Okay. In sales, if it's a big goal, you won't hit it. You may make a lot of money with a big ego, but you won't make the money that you could make and that you desire to make eventually based on your ego. Okay. When you have a big ego, small bank account. Have a big bank account, it's because you got a small ego, right? And so that's important. But when you actually have humility, guys, a lot of people will come to your aid. A lot of people will come help you. A lot of people will serve you. A lot of people will literally come to your rescue if you need it, right? And one of my old companies, there's a guy who, um, I don't know if he ever did a presentation, but he made $500,000 a month. I'm sorry, he made $50,000 a month, $500,000 a year, right? And his best thing, he would tell people, I don't know nothing. All I do is I show them the presentation, and then I put them on the phone with my leader. They sign up, and then I do the same thing over again. And remember, he said, I showed them the presentation. That's via video. Then he puts them on the phone with a three-way with his leader, and he makes $50,000 a month. He didn't go and brag about how great he was at presenting and speaking, because he wasn't. And all he did was force people around him to help him because everybody fell in love with him in his spirit. Okay. And so be humble, guys. And to the point to where if you ever find somebody, guys, that's not humble, they're in business with you, don't humble them. Okay? Let them humble themselves. Okay. Because humbling somebody, that's temporary. It's not permanent. Humbling somebody, they'll change because you initiated it, but it's not a permanent fix because they didn't initiate it. So let a person humble themselves, and you do that by helping everybody around them make more money and have more success than they do. And then when they see the edification, they see people campaigning for you, they'll come back with humility and they'll suppress their ego. Okay. So again, and for me, I just assume that everybody in the room knows more than me. Right. I actually have my resume is out the window. I have people right now that even on Super Saturday and Saturday, I brought up a couple people in front of the room. I brought up 𝐍𝐎𝐓, and I had him talk about door knocking. That's not my expertise. That's not my area of operation, right? I don't do door knocking. He does, right? And I'm not going to get up there and give people bad information just because. Then I had Landon get up there and he talked about social media and leads. It's not my area of expertise, right? That's not what I do. And so it don't matter, again, for me, if I can learn from somebody, I can learn from somebody. And so I don't have an ego. Okay. I have a healthy ego. I do have ego. Remember, egos, you can have a healthy ego or you can have a destructive ego. A destructive ego tears everything down around it. A healthy ego makes you competitive and you do everything the right way in the spirit of competition. Okay. Athletes have healthy egos, a lot of them, right? And that's why they're so great, right? They don't like to lose, but they still understand sportsmanship. They still do things the right way, most of them. Okay? And so that's kind of how you want to be in a situation. H, honesty. Honesty. The truth is good enough, guys. No need to embellish, integrity overall. And other things is nobody that you're talking to is that important that you should have to lie to them, that you feel like you should have to lie to them to be in your business or to buy a product from you. Okay. Remember, nobody is that important that you think that you would have to lie to them to be in your business. Okay. And so don't embellish on the numbers. That's why you got the stories, guys. That's why you have a story. Use everybody else's stories so you don't have to embellish. Use the company's story so you don't have to embellish. Use Jabari's story. For people who make big money, use Jabari's story. I used Jabari's story today. Somebody was telling me that they had guys who made $100,000. So great. We had a guy made $100,000 just in April. And guess what? He'll do it again, and he'll do it again, and he'll do it again. And he'll do it consistently, just like a lot of other people will do it consistently as well. And so, you got something, I got something. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to the numbers, all I do is spit facts. Okay. Because this is the thing. I picked this company because everything about this company is better than every solar company out there. So why would I have to lie or embellish when everything we do is already better than you? And that's me telling you without telling you. I'll show you how much better we are than you with the facts, right? And I'll do it in a manner where you can receive it. Won't feel like I rubbed it in your face. I'll do it respectfully, right? In a spirit of competition. That's how it's supposed to be done, right? But it's always about honesty, guys. And remember, the truth at some point in time will always surface. So whether it's surfaced before they join you or after, it's not going to be a good look on you. Right? If it's before, they won't join you. If it's after, they won't follow you. Okay. And so honesty overall, integrity overall. E, educate. Educates. Okay. And so when you look at JC has numbers, he has facts, he has the figures, but he also has some jokes. I found out that in California, JC actually has a sense of humor, right? And so he told some jokes in the middle of his presentation and it flowed, and in training and it flowed, right? He mixed it up. So he didn't put people to sleep with numbers. He didn't put people to sleep with, educating. He didn't turn it into a seminar, right? And that's what you want to make sure you don't do. You don't want to turn it into a seminar, a symposium, or something where people give lectures and stuff like that. You want to strategically place your facts, right? And your figures. Also, make sure that, guys, when you're using figures, make sure it's a broken record. Make sure that one, it's the right number, and two, you're repeating the right number. Okay. So we talk about how many states we're in, how many installs, were done. Jabari's story is 28, not 29, not 30, and so whatever story you're telling, make sure it's the same story that everybody else is telling. Whatever example you're giving, make sure it's the same example everybody else is giving. And that's the best way, that's the best way not to get off track. Okay. So don't wing it. Okay. And for me, if I don't know something, I'm gonna tell you I don't know. So if a person asks me a question, you know what, that's not what I do. I'm new. Guess what? Next month, I'm gonna be new too. Next month after, I'm gonna be new. I'm just telling you. So, but educate people. I do know certain facts that I use strategically to make sure I drive my point home. Okay. And so when you actually go from the education, let me see here, you want to make sure you're well studied. This is when all those recordings that you love and the things that you hear, go back and listen to it over and over and over again. Break it down, turn it to a college course, and next thing you know, when you're having conversations, this stuff will just spill out. It'll come out naturally, right? And also, not just be well studied, use the stuff in conversations. You don't always have to be in a presentation or in a training or interacting with somebody about business. Just having a conversation, about these facts, these figures, and stuff like that over time. Again, it helps you know when to use it, how to use it, and so that's important when it comes to educating. Also, when you are educated, you appear to be more competent to people. Remember, you're in a high tech, high sales, environment, and when you're competent with what you're offering, people will now trust you, so they can make that big purchase, right? And so they're looking for competency, not slickness. Okay, they're looking for you to be educated somewhat, not a great salesperson, but educate yourself by doing it, so that people will have more respect for you guys and take you serious, because they feel like you understand a little bit about the industry. And then every time somebody talks to you, they should see a difference in you. They should hear a difference in you. They should hear that you've evolved your information. right? Always evolve your information, even if it has nothing to do with the company. Just having quotes, and knowing things like Warren Buffett invested $10 billion in clean energy and solar. That's a fact, right? It's researchable, okay? And then you talk about Elon Musk, you talk about all other stuff that's out there. Yeah, that's important. Now, entertain, okay? Humor is needed to turn, humor is needed in a presentation, guys. And a lot of times it's after you do the education. Okay. A lot of times, or it's before you really get started to kind of loosen people up. Okay. But if you hit them with a lot of facts, boom, 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 real quick, then boom, come back with a joke behind it. Right? Or come back with some humor behind it. But you don't want to turn your presentation and conversation into a comedy show because people won't take you serious. Okay. So again, strategically placed. Like I asked the question on Saturday, and I talked about numbers, and I told people, look, in school, because these are the numbers when I was using it to set up what the example I was about to do to get people to $100,000 a month, right? And I said, so in school, I did well in math. I made hundreds and A's in math. I made C pluses and B's in English. But how many of you would agree that it's better to say I is rich than I am poor, right? And you remember that? Look, Don remember that. So guys, when I did that, right? Everybody laughed, everybody chuckled, and I walked to the board, and everybody was ready to hear what I had to say and ready to see what I had to write. And so it's strategically placed. If you look at commercials, um, a lot they anchor, the name that they're trying to highlight uh in two ways. They anchor it, one with explosions, boom, big explosions, boom, 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 boom. Pepsi, the start or the drink of a new generation or whatever it was, right? They gave it to you in the explosion. Or they centered it around a lot of laughter and humor. It was something that they did that got your attention, and then they hit you with it, right? And that's kind of how you want to, deliver it. You don't want to just you know, be funny just to be funny. You don't want to just be a scholar and entertain just to be a scholar and entertain. You want to do it in a manner where it actually has a purpose and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see. We got a hot mic. So Carly, can you find that for me and mute that? Evolve. Okay. Talked about it a little bit, guys, but for me, study the best to become the best. Right. I'm studying JC. Juan Carlos is my mentor when it comes to solar right now. When it comes to building solar teams and it comes to talking about solar, that's my coach. That's my mentor, right? I'm studying him. And the more and more I study him, the better my evolution is. Okay. And I'll just tell you, a lot of my first videos that y'all have been seeing, and some of y'all have been secretly laughing at, that's fine. We're not the best, right? But I can tell you this, my second set of videos, the ones that are coming to a social media site near you, they're better. They're not exactly where I want them to be, but they are far from where they used to be. And that's because I've evolved my information. I've evolved as a speaker. I've evolved my content, right? And so I was able to now free flow a lot of the conversation that you'll see in my new videos that are coming out. Okay. And I'm excited. You got Landon to thank for that. Thank you, Landon. And so, but evolve, guys. Your presentation should never stay the same. Your conversation should never stay the same, right? Even your trainings should never stay the same. Everything should always evolve because you're always evolving. You're always growing. And what happens now is your filter is now open and turned on for information that gets you to your goal, right? And so get you to become successful, get you new recruits, get you new installs, right? And so your filter is now welcoming anything off of social media, anything off the radio, anything off the TV is coming to you because what you're looking for, you attract, right? And so that information comes, you use it, write it down, and next thing you know, you'll find a way to use it, but it'll come out, right? Like in a wealth file, like T. Harv Eker says, it'll come out from a wealth file, and some of you will be amazed at what some of you will say after a while, right? And so your spouses will start looking at you differently, like, wow, you just said that, right? And so that's the thing. So evolve your information. Uh, first M, Make your audience the priority 100% of the time. Make your audience the priority 100% of the time. It's always about your audience. It's always about connecting with your audience, doing what's best for your audience, really letting them know that you're not there for you, you're there for them, right? Sometimes I won't get in, or out and about too early. Like if I'm at a presentation, I'll probably come out maybe 10 minutes before, and then I'll go back in. I'll come out and meet some people, shake some hands, and I'll have some conversations 10, 15 minutes before the presentation start. Then 5 minutes before it start, I'll leave. I'll go back and I'll get my head right, do my affirmations, do my prayers, talk to myself, read slow, everything that I'm going to do. Listen to the rap song. And that's another thing y'all can do before you present. Once you get all of your notes out the way and everything you're going to do and say out of the way, and you get all your affirmations and everything out of the way, find you one just rock solid song, whatever it is. My wife has a song by Mary J. Blige, right, that she plays before she presents. I have a couple of songs. I have about 4 or 5 songs that just depending on where I'm at and who I want to be when I hit the stage, I play that song. I'm hyped up. Energy is up here, right? I'm ready to go out and I'm ready to conquer. But the other thing that it does is this. It breaks up everything that you had right here in your frontal lobe. Everything that you had that you were thinking about right now, consciously thinking about, is right here. It's jumbled up, right? Y'all ever recognize that? You got so much happening right now, you can't even think clearly, right? And so when you actually listen to your favorite song right before you go out, it breaks everything up. Boom. It sends everything away, clears everything out. And then when you grab the microphone, it starts coming back piece by piece as you need it, right? And trust me on it, it's like magical. I promise you. And so again, that's one of the things I learned from my senior partner, because we rolled up to a presentation in Dallas, and he was playing Ice Cube jacking for beats. I'm like, dude, you've been talking about personal development for years, and you roll up, listen to rap music, and then he told me why. I'm like, oh, okay. So I tried it, and have been doing it ever since. Telling you, and so it works. So find you find you something that breaks everything up, some song, your magic song, whatever it is, your go-to that just gets you there, and listen to it before every presentation, training, whatever you do, right before. But going back to your audience, if I'm walking through the audience, I make eye contact with some people, and some people I might touch on the shoulder. It just depends on the environment, okay, and the people. But when you walk away from that presentation, you're probably going to walk away thinking that you know me, or you're familiar with me, or it's just you can't see yourself not doing business without me. And that's the thing that I want. That's the impression that I want to leave on you. I want to give you the Sam Bean experience, right? And so you got to give people the Tongue Champ experience. You got to give people the Matt Sistrunk experience, the Don Riley Briss experience. You got to make sure that you leave an indelible impact on a person's life, on their spirit, to where even if they see a presentation for another company, they don't want to do nothing with the other company because they want to do business with you. People don't care about what you know until they know about what? How much you care, right? And so learn how to care for people. When you learn how to put people first, guys, I can just tell you, you and your family will never be last. If you learn how to make people the priority, you'll have people make you the priority, right? You'll always go into war with a legion of people who will have your back 100% of the time. You'll have fans, you'll have fanatics, you'll have people who they won't let nobody, I say, talk down on your name, or send any bad press out on you. You'll see people in chats that will fend for you, and it's just because you built, up that fandom based on you showing people your heart and that you love them, you care about them, and that they do matter. Because these industries, guys, I'm going to say right now, these industries, a lot of people are using these people to build their legacies and build their fortunes. And I'm telling you, I use it for a different reason. I use the industry to build people up and to make people a fortune. And when you do that, those are the people who, again, just they'll fend for you. But the other thing is this, guys, you got to have a goal outside. You got to have a mission, which is M. M is a mission. You got to have a mission, that when you see a person in the audience, what is your mission for that person, right? Like for me, if I'm talking to somebody who's invited from like for my personal group, my mission is to make that person want a lot of money, okay? Period. And the second part of that mission is to, for me, is to qualify that individual to do business with me outside of here, okay? Because my guys already know my goal is to get not just to $250,000 a month, but to get 10 people to $25,000 a month. And when that happens, that number is going to continue to grow, obviously. But when that happens, I have 10 people that I can now create a investment company with. And we can turn around and take, money and go out here and buy up land and start our own solar farm. We can buy some apartment complexes or build some new construction stuff, or we just go do a whole lot of legacy stuff because it's not the company's job, to create your wealth for you. It's the company's job to pay you what you deserve. And then you take that money and you go and create your own wealth with it. Okay. And so you got to think about these are not just people who are on your team. These are people who, again, you can continue to do big things on, do big things with. Okay. Because I'm just saying you got people who you think JC Rangel is not thinking about, other projects outside of build. Man, you think that Winston Navarro is not thinking about investing in anything outside of Bill? You think that the Pachecos who are operating gold mines right now, literally, you think that the gold mines and Bill are the only two things that they're going to invest on? What do you think they'll do when they figure out they have people who are in their organizations, in their groups, in the company that are making a lot of money, who are really good people that they can trust and that they can build something special with, they can invest in something else with? Think about this for a second. So what's your mission for you and what's the mission for the people? M, the last M, move to action. Okay, anytime you're in a presentation, guys, you want to make sure you give people a directive. You want to make sure you give people a course of action. You want to give people instructions and tell them exactly what to do. What action should they take now? Okay. This is what I suggest you do. And that's at that point in time, you're now prompting them to take those instructions. If you ever hear me, I'd let people know, it's go ahead and get your $200 pack, your $199 builder's pack. Get started. One, tell the person who invited you, thank you. Two, go ahead and get yourself positioned for $199 because you want to get started at the top, not the bottom, not the middle. Okay. And when I'm talking to people right now, guys, do what you want to do. Be an affiliate, be a consultant. But if you're really serious about making a 4 or 5 or 6 figure monthly income, you should be, really, really willing to make a 3-figure investment. And we're talking about $200. And like I told them on Saturday, people got started on Saturday because I'm like, some of y'all gonna spend $200 on lunch when you leave here. Some of you ladies out there, a pair of your shoes, not just a pair, one of your shoes costs more than $200. How I know? I have a lot of shoes in my wife's closet that cost more than $200. So you can find something to spend $200 on, right? Why not invest it in your future? Why not invest it in something that can give you a 4, 5, 6-figure monthly return? Okay. Don't step over dollars to collect pennies. Get started. Okay. Remember, people need someone to impose their will on them, right? People like to be led. People like to be told what to do in a respectful manner, right? Think about it. If a person has a job, guys, one of the most heavily populated areas, in a workplace is the break room and the smoke area. And a lot of times people, they take liberties and they hang out there too long. And they normally hang out until they see somebody coming to tell them to go back to work. Right? When they start seeing, they go, boss, I'm gone. Pew! They scatter like roaches when the lights come on, right? So again, you have to tell people what to do. Give people instructions. People want to be led, okay? And they want to know that you're a leader. If you can't give them the very first order, the most important order, you're not fit to lead that person. You're not fit to lead that person. Why should this person actually allow you to recruit them if you won't even tell them what the first thing to do is. Okay. So don't be bashful. You got them at a business presentation for a reason, for them to join, not for them to watch and go make a decision. Okay. So just get skillful at how you tell them and then how to make sure you enforce what you just told them. Right? So make sure you do that, guys. So again, give them the mission statement, set the vision. Okay. And so I have people who right now we're launching, we give different launch names for different situations. It might be Project 1000. And we'll put 1,000 people in business in 6 months for some people. Or we'll put maybe Project 100. We'll put 100 people in business with somebody in 60 to 90 days, depending on the person and their abilities. But that's the vision. That's okay. This is what we're going to do. This is the mission. Okay. And a part of that mission is this is what we're going to do in our first 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Right. And so give them those. Talked about securing your position in equity. Okay. Let's see here. First mover's advantage is very, very important. And this is the thing, guys. You can actually have, an opportunity once you get to that point, especially when you're training, when you're showing a person what the binary is and how they can actually benefit from spillover. And people who watched me do the presentation on Saturday they heard me talk about this. And I talked about, making sure you guys get positioned today because you don't know who's going to be recruited tomorrow. Okay. And watch this. I'm gonna do this for you. Carla, let me know if you can see me. If you can see this. All right. Let's just say Michelle, who did some real big damage on Saturday. And a lot of people there, right? And I told them, get position. So here, if I'm talking to Don, I say, Don, get started right here, right now. And Don does.
And let you know, Mr. Bean, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We can see it. I just wanted to let you know that, sir.
All right. And so let's say I tell Don to get started. She doesn't get started yet. She's like, I gotta think about it. Okay, let's just say Erica Villarreal comes in. This is Erica. Okay. And then Don comes in here. Okay. Watch what happens. Everything that Don puts down here, it can be a lot. Okay. It can be a lot. But she's normally going to put it down here, the most down here, because this is a community leg. This is a share leg. This is a spillover leg. This is the leg she's going to have to put most of her resources on. So if you notice where Don got positioned right here under Erica, right? Don will get 100% of this, which may not be a lot, right? But she's going to miss 100% of this because it's not in line with her. Had Don got in right here, Erica would have been right here, then Don would have got both sides of everything that Erica would have did. Okay? So, for me, I'm not trying to sell you on why you should get in when it comes to getting in right now today. Your $200 to me is going to be the same tomorrow, the same $200. Next week is going to be the same $200 to me. Next month is going to be the same $200 to me. But to you, think about the person that Hans talked to and that Deanna talked to, my sponsor talked to before they talked to me and they didn't get started. Right now, we have over 450 people. We have over 500 people in the group now. So had they got started before me, they would have had me and my 500 people beneath them, right? And they would have think about it. That's some pretty nice volume. But if you got started after me, you'd only have about 200 to 250 people from that one side. You wouldn't have the full 500. Okay. And so make sure people understand that, especially your builders. If you got people who are normal, all day, everyday people, it might not mean that much to them. And if they don't think that they're going to build anyway, it might not be that effective. Okay. But like Idris said, there it says, it's a missed opportunity. It's money that exponentially you can't count because going back to my 500 will be 5,000 one day. It would be 10,000 one day. it would be 20,000 one day. Okay. And if you came down beneath me, way down beneath me, you may only see 3, 4, 5,000 of that 20,000. Okay. So you can't, some of you guys are going to bring in athletes. Some of you guys are going to bring in celebrities. Some of you guys are going to be corporate execs. A lot of you guys are going to bring in solar pros from other companies that are going to come in and recruit the world. And they should actually know that. You should let people know that they need to get in front of all these people who you have coming, all these people who you have working, all these people who you've already presented to that you have to follow up with. Let them know, because that's going to either make them a lot of money or cost them a lot of money. One of the two. And that decision, make sure that they actually sleep with it. Okay. Let's see here. Also, once they get started, again, just let them know, hey, this is what's going to happen after. For those of you who enroll, we're going to get you qualified. We're going to get you certified, rather. We're going to get your game plan session. We're going to get, and it's just have a nice little what you can do, or what we're going to do, rather, after you actually enroll. That way they know for a fact you already have a plan for them. I tell them all the time, we're going to get your game plan session, a private game plan session set up with you, so we can get your goals and get your game plan on how to achieve them. We get you certified. We're going to get you the mentor, because that's where you say you want to be at, whatever it is. We're going to get all this stuff done, knocked out, and that person knows what the mission is going forward. Okay. And so with that, guys, it's 9 o'clock on the dot. And what I want to do right now, real quick, before I wrap up, and I think he may be on here, but if Mr. Rangel is on here, if you have anything you want to share, anything you want to add, any comments you want to make before we jump off, that'd be great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, incredible job. I got my baby boy right here, so he's super loud. So, no, listen, great job. Everything that you were talking about was powerful, and it's so true, right? One of the things I want to talk about, just based on what you mentioned earlier in the beginning of the training, was the daily accountability and the 8-point system, right? There's a lot to learn in this business. There's a lot to learn in any business. When it comes to the solar side, for those of you guys that want to become a solar pro, there's a lot to learn on that side. But one of the cool things is this: network marketing, team building, solar. There's a lot to learn, but there's the basics and the fundamentals, right? For example, get your 3 sales and your 4 recruits. Follow the 8-point system, right? You got to make sure that your team is connected to this powerful information. I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it for the rest of my career. You've got to make sure that your team is connected to this. That means you got to make sure that any team members on your team, you duplicate the right behavior. Make sure that this is a reoccurring event on their calendar. You want to schedule success. How many of you guys have watched the 7-minute welcome video that I did that tells them what the next steps are? Okay. You got to make sure that everybody does that. You got to do that, right? I'm doing game plan interviews almost on a daily basis. I'm doing 3 calls almost on a daily basis, right? Now you start to see people like, obviously, Mr. Sam Bean's already been here a few months doing his thing. But today, Mr. Pete Abraham did the 10 a.m. training. It was a phenomenal training, right? You're going to start seeing more leaders step up. So I'm asking myself, who are going to be the next leaders to step up, to do the edification, to do the introduction, to do the trainings and the presentations. You're going to start to see that as well. Listen, the company is growing. We're doing sales every single day. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales. Eventually, some of you guys are going to have your teams doing that many sales. We are less than 9 months away from having an executive director, maybe even a national director. That is big money, not including what it makes in the binary. So we provide value every single Monday for you guys to go out there and take it and promote. And the last thing that I'll mention is this. As Mr. B mentioned, the convention is coming. We're going to announce it later this week. Okay. You want to make sure that one way or another, you make it to that event no matter what. Okay. The other thing is this: build, build, build. Tomorrow is the opportunity presentation. Mr. Sam Bean and myself are going to be doing tomorrow's opportunity business showcase. You want to make sure that if you get somebody on that showcase and they could fog a mirror and they have a post, they're going to sign up. Okay. We're going to build. So Mr. Sam Bean and I are going to blow the doors off the hinges. How many of you guys, by putting it in the chat, are committed to having 1, 2, or 3 guests on the chat? I want to see it on the chat. You've got to promote. You've got to push. You've got to be accountable. Those of you guys, I noticed, by the way, who is in the group posting their 8 points daily. I noticed that. I can't go and like every single one of them, but let me tell you something. I'm looking. Mr. Sam is looking. The leaders in the company are looking. So 1 person confirmed, 2 to 3 confirmed for tomorrow for Matt. Based on the numbers we heard this morning and based on the numbers that I'm seeing right now, we are going to have a packed house tomorrow. And it's not about one of us pushing. It's about all of us pushing. Let's push to get as many people, the biggest Tuesday opportunity night tomorrow. Mr. Sam Bean and I'm going to be in this very office. I'm going to plant myself here, and I'm going to bring you fire. Mr. Sam Bean is going to bring you fire. Your people are going to get enrolled, and now's the time to build that momentum for the next one. So anyways, that's it for me. I talked longer than I thought I would. Mr. Sam Bean, incredible job as usual. Thank you very much, and I'll pass it back to you.
All right, guys. Again, y'all know what it is. Let's go out here and make sure next week we're back here, same time, same line, more people. Go get your market share. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. See you guys tomorrow.
Recording